in 5th grade, both in Michigan and in Seattle, you have to teach sex ed, okay? But when I moved to Seattle, they told me that I had to teach it to the boys and the girls at the same time. And I had to teach them about all of it. And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not will I do this, okay? Because you and I both know that this is a setup, that this is immoral, and that personally I'm only familiar with 50% of the material.
Joe Dombrowski is on the Adam Carolla Show.
Joe, from the classroom to the stage. Yeah. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Joe's got dates coming up. He's also got a monthly show over at the Belly Room over at the Comedy Store. I love the Belly Room. Very intimate, very nice. My Straight Friends, it's once a month over there. Also shows on the road as well. And you can go to Joe Dombrowski. It's long, but it's phonetic.com if you want to get all those dates. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What did you, so what subjects did you teach? Oh, you can turn the mic a little bit.
Oh, get ready for this.
There you go.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, I saw everything kindergarten to 5th grade, and it was insane.
Are in kindergarten, are you mostly just sort of a wrangler at that point, or are you actually able to impart things to them?
No, you're imparting, but like I think the main thing is I'm not teaching them anything other than just how to school. How to function in school, how to behave and do all that. Other than that, it's out the window. Because in kindergarten, you could have a plan, and it's never going to go according to that plan. Like a bird hits the window, and your day is lost.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking back on some of my old teachers the other day, and like growing up out here, school was very institutional. You know, every school I went to was built in the 20s or the 30s. It was essentially a box. It had thick screen on the outside, like so people couldn't get out or get in, you know, and the palette was all like gray and flesh color and weird sort of light avocado. Like everything they did was institutional. Like it wouldn't look any different than a prison or an insane asylum.
Right. I thought you were going to tell me your school was one room with a bell on top.
No, that was a little house on the prairie.
Right. No, but the funniest thing is my very first year teaching, I went in there and talk about underfunded. Like there's no money to do this. It was like 4 desks and a couple pencils, and I had to fund the rest myself. But
where was
this? This is just outside of Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, boy.
And the books that they gave me were books that I was using to teach when I was in elementary school. I'm like, I don't think this is adding up. I think some things have changed.
Yeah.
But you got to make the best of it.
Yeah, I didn't really. I was kind of warehoused, but it was also understood. Like we had a kind of tacit agreement, which is like, I'll show up. You won't have to come looking for me, but don't expect me to do anything. And they're like, yeah, okay, we got it. And so it was like a thing where I would punch in and sit down and not really do anything. But all they needed was for me to be there so they could get the money.
And the numbers.
And the numbers.
That's real. That's still real.
And they kind of left me alone, and I left them alone. And then to make things even worse, my school, North Hollywood High, they start these, I don't know what they call them euphemistically, but chartery things or something, but they had Amelia Earhart. So what they do is they take a corner of the school, they put a trailer on it, they put a fence around it, and they're like, look, you fuck-ups who can't even handle North Hollywood High, the rigors academically of North Hollywood High, which is close to zero. You students who can't make it through the day without smoking, we will create another school called Amelia Earhart. And for that school, all you need to do is show up, call your teachers by their first name, and sit around and smoke on a coffee table over there.
Hill.
And if you want to get up and walk to Jack in the Box, go ahead. You don't have to check out. You don't have to do anything. But we will call roll, and you will be here.
That's still real. Let me ask you this: class clown or no?
I was Yes, I was class clown.
Yes.
Okay.
Him, yes.
Yeah.
Were you class
Oh,
clown?
hell yeah.
Oh, you
And
were?
I was just bring the ruckus, getting a brawl all the time, just
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Just having funsies.
Were you?
Sure.
Well, you did stand up when you were like in the third grade,
I did
right?
stand up in third
Right.
grade for my third grade talent show. And the craziest part about it is my elementary teachers will sometimes pop into my shows
Nice.
now. No one's surprised.
Really?
Nobody's surprised or shocked.
I
cool.
didn't have the guts to do formal stand up at that age.
Well, all my jokes were stolen from a magician.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had a magician at my first communion after party because we're Polish, so you need to keep drinking after drinking.
Yeah.
And I remember all of his jokes were making me laugh, and I just remembered them all verbatim.
Really?
You remembered every single one of them. I made my mom bring out my suit for my first communion so I could wear it on stage. Because this is the 90s, too. Like, stand-up was still, like, super, super formal.
Yeah.
And I went up there in my suit and stole all this magician's work and
And little
killed.
baby Joe Rogan jumped out of the crowd and yelled at you?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
And it worked.
And then we grappled. Yep, it worked. It worked.
Did you win the talent show?
So there wasn't winning.
Oh, there's just everyone was out there.
But if we're gonna be real, like,
Stole the show?
was I the best one? Yeah.
Cool,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing a really young person do stand up is sort
Yeah.
of fun and novel in and of
It
itself.
was sick though too. Like I grew up in a stand-up family, so I was
Oh, you did?
exposed to a lot. I remember singing the Man Show intro song with my friends, like in school.
Wow. I remember
Like,
writing the Man Show intro
really?
song. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sitting at a desk and Jimmy was like sitting at that desk and we just started
Made it
writing
happen.
it. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway.
lots of stand-up. I was exposed to it, and I'll never forget watching very specific people do very specific things and being like, I can do that. Like Ellen DeGeneres has this very specific joke where she's using her claw to go up and grab toilet paper that was stuck in the thing. And I was like, I can see what she's doing, but there's nothing there. And everybody's laughing at this. And I do that in school. So like, can somebody pay me for this?
So you grew up, you say, in a stand-up family, but what's that mean?
Oh, we were just consuming it all the time.
Everyone in your
I'm
family.
the only comedian, yes, but we were watching lots and lots.
Because
of
like if
stand-up.
I said I grew up in a logging family and you said, what's that mean? I
no,
said,
no,
we
no.
watched a lot of
Yeah.
loggers.
It's-
You would be confused.
Lots of-
You'd think
lots
I
of
was
stand-up
loggers.
Consumption.
Consumption
Lots
family.
of stand-up consumption.
Well,
yeah.
that's, let's philosophically break that down.
Yeah.
It's good because it means that you have a mutual interest and your dad has a love and your mom has a passion or whatever, and it's like expressed and exposed to you. But it's also a mindset, which is I want to laugh. You know, like my mom didn't watch comedy or like comedy or watch stand-up, but it's because she was depressed and wanted to kind of waller in her misery all the time. So it wasn't like she didn't like stand-up. It's like saying, well, my parents didn't like eating out or something. It's really what they're kind of saying is they didn't like being social with people and enjoying themselves. You know what I mean? It's not about pork chops. It's kind of about the mindset, right? Because like when I think, like you think about somebody you just adore and you go, oh, we should get a steak and a martini, and you get it on the calendar. And you're not really so much thinking about the steak. You're thinking about, I get to sit with that person and have a martini and have a great conversation, you know? So it's like your parents must have been sort of joyous, I guess, if they liked stand-up a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the thing, too.
I think it's the same with roller skating, by the way. People love roller skating. They're like, that's just a happy. That's not a person that likes being on wheels. They're saying, I enjoy shit.
Absolutely. But they loved it, and I was in such a social family too. Like we were hosting a lot. Like my parents, the full bar. People were always at our house hanging out. And then on the weekdays, we're watching Roseanne. We're watching Home Improvement. Like we're just consuming a lot of comedians, and still in this very like happy environment. So when I wanted to do it at first, they were not okay with it.
They weren't.
Because they didn't want this like struggling artist narrative, right? Which is actually how I went into teaching, because I wanted to find something else that I really like and pursue a degree in that, as they wanted me to have that first. But I was always doing stand-up on the side because teachers are, what?
poor people. So I needed to put gas in my car for real. So I'm doing $20 spots, $50 spots just to be able to do that. And then eventually it blew up to the point where I could, live the dream and actually leave and do it. And then they were like, go for it. And now they're my biggest fans.
Man, I really love your family.
They're cool. They're cool. They're cool.
And what did they do?
My mom is a nurse, and my dad is a retired civil engineer for an Air Force base. And now he is the church maintenance man.
Is a civil engineer for an Air Force base mean he's in the Air Force?
No, he was actually in the Navy. And also, I think the term engineer in that title was generous.
Oh,
I think he...
like he's a sanitation engineer. Bob, someone shit up the toilet real big. Go over there.
Right. He's gonna
get your plunger, engineer.
Yeah.
Engineer that shit out of the main drain, would you?
I never saw blueprints laying around the house or anything like that. So I think that tells you what you need to know.
So your dad was just like a blue-collar dude.
They both were, yeah.
And you're, in a weird way. I mean, I guess they don't count. You don't think of nurse as a blue-collar job, but it really is real boots-on-the-ground kind of job. Like,
for sure.
I could not do that job
Yeah.
at all. But traditionally, pretty good pay.
And my mom was a hustler too, and she worked her way up from like the floor, like being a receptionist to nurse to moving up to the point where she ended up working HR for the hospital, and then did this cool thing called nepotism and hired me at the hospital after I graduated, which was probably the biggest mistake.
Is now the dynamic between your mom and your dad, because your mom is making more loot than your dad is per month.
I mean, is this the first time I'm realizing that?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, look, I mean, I can't say for certain, but I will say engineer in quotes on a Air Force base, like maintenance guy. It's not buku bucks.
Right.
I'm thinking, we got to adjust it for inflation and stuff like that. But, your dad's making $40,000 a year and your mom's making $70,000 a year, like as a nurse. Like nurses, it's a high paying job for someone who doesn't have like an advanced degree or something.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that your mom made more than your dad. And so it's almost for certain if your dad is doing the job you're describing and your mom is doing the job you're describing. But now here's the question. How did the power at the home break down?
In terms of parenting or just period?
Just kind of like when your mom would go, like you'd be going out to dinner.
Yeah.
And your dad would go, I think we get Mexican tonight. And your mom goes, I'm in the mood for Italian.
Yeah, no.
Where did you go?
You give me what you think your answer is.
Here's what I think. I think
this is my podcast now.
I think when it's close, you can, in terms of earning. See, I have a theory. My theory is people go, I don't think most men could handle it if their woman made a ton of money and they didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could handle that part of it. But the part I couldn't handle is them waving it and holding it over me, which as a man, you're not allowed to do.
Yeah.
As a man, you could make $5 million a year. Your wife could make $0 and then have a huge argument over where you were going to eat that night.
Yeah.
But I think if the woman made $5 million and the guy fucking made $0, you just eat where she wanted to eat.
Yeah.
And it's also, if she wanted to go to Hawaii for a vacation, you wanted to go to Mexico, at a certain point you go, I'm buying the tickets, bitch.
Yeah.
So we're going to Hawaii.
That didn't happen.
That would happen if there's a big disparity.
Right. I don't think the disparity was that big, though, because it was still very, I had a very Midwestern suburban upbringing where it was still, like, my dad's house. Like, it was just, we're doing that where he's deciding what's for dinner, like we're eating it, we're getting up and leaving. Like it was very much that
so
was
your
the
mom
dynamic.
Brought home the bacon and fried it up in the pan.
I guess so.
That's interesting.
I guess so, yeah.
Is she an immigrant or of that ilk? Old school Polish or something?
No, that's the funniest thing too. I'm actually half Italian. She's super Italian. And let me tell you what, this woman is like she might as well be a mob wife at this point. Like she is the number one saying of my mom is, if you fuck with me, you're dead to me. You're dead to her. Like there is not such thing as second chances in her life.
Wow.
And I think now I've never dissected my parents' family dynamic this much in my adult life, but looking back at it now, I was like, I wonder what happened behind the scenes. Holy shit, that explains all the broken dishes.
Her maiden name is Corleone.
Yeah, no, for real. There was horse heads in a lot of our beds.
So they didn't want you to do comedy because they were worried that you wouldn't be able to, wouldn't make a career of it. Which, look, it's a low percentage job. So I get parents who
I do too,
who do that, and also there's other low percentage jobs where your 8-year-old could go, one day I'm going to play shortstop for the Yankees, Dad, and you go, yes, you are, my boy, yes, you are, and then you'd leave it alone because he's going to wash out in the 10th grade. Right. You don't need to intervene. Society will fucking cut him off the junior varsity team, and he'll go on to something else. Right. But comedian or country singer, that shit can go on into your 60s.
Yeah,
and you can still be a loser because we know a lot of those people.
And then still, I just was in your lobby. There was a picture of you selling out the Moore Theater. I just sold out the Moore Theater.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and
that's big place.
Well, that is the thing too. I can sell out the Moore Theater, which is 2,000 seats in Seattle, and I'll still walk away and be like, no one fucking knows me. This is over tomorrow. You know what I mean? And that's
the life, buddy.
That's the conversation I don't have with my parents. They'll be like, oh shit, could this be over for him tomorrow? Maybe go back to teaching. It's like, I think they're doing all right. I think.
Wow, the Moore Theater. It's a great venue.
Yeah,
it's in
cool
Seattle.
Venue.
It's 2,000 seats, and it's where Even Flow from Pearl Jam was shot.
Yeah.
And he's climbed up on the balcony and everything. And if you stand on stage, you'll see the balcony and the pipes and the whole same thing. And it's kind of cool.
It is really cool. And it was cool when I first moved to Seattle. I lived across the street from it and wasn't at that point in my career comedically yet. And then being able to play it, look outside the window and be like, I lived there and now I'm doing this. That was a highlight. That was very cool.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, for me, I went and somehow did 6 shows in 2 days at Kirkland, Washington, at a place that used to be like a Domino's Pizza or something. and the first show would sell out, and they'd add another show, and that show would sell out, they had another show. But before you know it, it was like 6 hours of comedy each night. And so I remember thinking to myself, oh, look, we just sold like 1,500 or 1,800 seats, but I had to do like 6 shows. And then I announced, I said, next time we come back, we do we do 1 show for the same amount of people, but I only have to do 1 instead of 6. So that was like my MacArthur returning to the Philippines story.
That's
but
cool.
Living across from the Moore is like, the Moore's sort of nondescript from the outside. It doesn't look like much. It's kind of like on the corner, and I don't know, the neighborhood's not fantastic.
It's Seattle.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But it's not what you're picturing, like the Emerald City.
No, not at all.
Part of it.
Not at all. But that was really interesting too, because you're right. It does not catch your eye when you go past it. And then you go in and it's just beautiful with that beautiful high ceiling and all the artwork up there. And seeing so much comedy there and then doing it was
you saw
wild.
A lot of comedy.
Oh,
there.
Yeah.
Well, that's a better and different experience, for an individual, because I'd never seen anything there.
Yeah, that was, I think I saw Kathleen Madigan there the month before I did it and then knew that my show had already sold out. And I was like,
yeah.
I get a lot of, sometimes it's hard for me to realize where I'm at in comedy. Did you have that when you were like at sort of a breaking point? Sometimes it's hard for me to still wrap my head around. Like I'll go to the store and everyone will be like, dude, you're doing it. And I'm like, am I doing it? It's wild. It's wild feeling.
I don't know, with the internet and tweets and all the stuff we have in Facebook and all that now, it adds another dimension to it. Mm-hmm. When I was coming up, you were either on TV or you weren't on TV, and if you were on TV, you're doing okay. And if you weren't, you probably wanted to be on TV, but it wasn't. It was a little more defined. Like you knew who people were because if you have a TV show. And then if you didn't have a TV show, then you're only so famous because you didn't have a TV show, you know?
Now it's fragmented into like 1,000 social medias. Like I saw you on YouTube, you know, but you also Instagram, TikTok, everything, you know, so you could be famous on one. And like, I don't watch TikTok that much, so I don't know who the hell this guy is.
Yeah.
But then, Instagram guy, I know that guy. It's just how it goes.
That's
and then
real.
the Facebook people, who the hell are they?
That's Ron and Fran Dombrowski.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't know. I didn't pay that much attention to anything. I wanted money and I wanted to build stuff.
Cool.
So I was in show business, you know, during the day or at night or something. But every other moment I had, I was in a Home Depot with folks that didn't know and didn't care. And then I would work with those people. So I was very immersed in building and in cars and stuff like that. So I wasn't really, you know, hanging around at Dan Tana's with the writers, you know, having martinis. I'd tape a TV show and then just go right to Home Depot and stuff. So I didn't really live that life. I didn't have lots of friends that were Hollywood types, you know. I wasn't part of the scene per se.
Yeah.
But I recognized I would, you know, people stop me at airports and say hi, but that was a byproduct of being on 2 TV shows simultaneously, you know? And I would say, they go, is it weird when people, I go, no, when you're on TV, that's what happens. People stop and go, hey, man. And that's how it works, because that's because you're on TV. That's how it would work.
Yep.
But if you were a lawyer who had a billboard everywhere in town that said, 1-800-FIGHT-FOR-YOU or no cuffs or something, you'd also get stopped at an airport and go, hey, it's the lawyer guy.
True.
Well, where do you develop most of your fandom from?
Oh, so when it started to really pop for me, when I was able to take my stuff out of the Detroit area, it was because I made a very active switch to start just talking about what happened in the classroom. So I was telling these stories of the kids and like the wild shit that they would say to me, and it was just resonating because I was realizing that people are laughing because they have a kid or they were a kid. Most of them went to school. This is just very universal material that I'm doing, and that allowed me to go out. So then people would quickly be like, you're the teacher comedian, which would grind my gears though, because I had so much banked material that I wanted to let out about like all this other stuff in my life, but I'm like, this teacher shit's working.
That's your hook.
Let's do it. So I rode that wave for a very, very, very long time. And now the material that I'm like, the teacher core line will always be the through line of what I'm doing. And I'll always bring it up from time to time. There's just so much more that I talk about on stage that I think people are caught pleasantly off guard when they come to a show, right? It's
an interesting perspective because not everybody was been a kindergarten teacher.
That's true, or a sassy gay one at that. So yeah.
Wow, Joe Dombrowski is the least gay name I've ever heard in my life.
It was sound like a linebacker to me.
Listen to this. It was almost Dominic Dombrowski, and I'm like, you guys missed it.
No, that's good. Yeah, that's super gay.
That's either that's like a football player or a porn star. Either way, I'm into it.
Why not both?
Right.
That is I don't know how gay names work, but like Tommy Toon, that's a gay name. Joe Dombrowski's it's the least likely gay name on the planet.
It's so Polish.
It's the Joe because you got Joe Sixpack, I guess, or Joe something, Joe the plumber. Like I don't know. The Joe makes it,
alarmingly heterosexual.
And the Dombrowski, it just sounds like you sit around
smoking cigars and
Joe Kielbasa.
Yeah, it's like it's like you sit around cooking brats all day with beer,
and you drink Milwaukee's best.
Yeah,
we drink Stroh's. It's Detroit. Let's be real.
Oh, I thought you had
but you take a draw off your Stroh's tall boy, and then you dump some of it in with the bratwurst, and then you take another draw off.
Okay, nostalgia. Bratwurst beer liquid was pretty much in my blood.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Also,
shout out
it's
Kowalski's
the name.
If you want to sponsor me,
it's a name it's a name that a foreman would yell out. Dombrowski, get back on those I-beams and quit flapping your jaw.
You want to hear some shit?
It's the straightest name ever.
Never heard this last name. Like I never run into other Dombrowskis or anything like that. A woman came to one of my shows in New York and was like, "Hey, this was great. But I thought you were Kevin Dombrowski. I'm like, who the fuck's Kevin?
Yeah.
Kevin Dombrowski. I look up Kevin Dombrowski. He's like all over at the cellar, like doing all this shit. And we start chit chatting, talking to each other. We become friends. I'm like, you guys want to like go on the road together, do this Dombrowski shit?
Yeah.
He's like, yes, so that'll open for me every once in a while. We tell people we're cousins, like do the whole thing. Never met another Dombrowski till that.
Sick.
Kevin Dombrowski.
Great guy, hilarious comic.
Hey, you know, the Sklar brothers are doing pretty good.
Yeah.
They're pretty funny.
I think they're the real deal, though.
I don't
Jury's
know.
out. Jury's out.
Give him a couple shots.
Yeah, we need a
and talk to
23 of
these
me.
guys. All right, you got some news
I do.
there, Mayhem?
I
And
have
Joe
some
will
news.
hang out. We'll crack wise as we hear it.
Oh, take a break or we're coming right into
I
it?
think we're going right
All right,
into
we're
it.
coming in hot. Hey, HBO's John Oliver faces a lawsuit from a health insurance executive over a Medicaid monologue. I think we have it right here, the part in question.
I've never met John Oliver.
No, me neither.
He's funny. He's interesting. I think a little English accent gives you a little bit of gravitas.
Right. Doesn't it, though?
You get away with the...
Yeah.
Look, there's a reason why every sci-fi movie in outer space 1,000 years from now, they have a little bit of an English accent. What they're saying is we're a little bit smarter.
Yeah.
You know, they don't sound like Cardi B.
Right.
Right?
10% intelligence on
Yeah.
that. You know.
When you hear a doctor at AmeriHealth, the MCO that took over in Iowa, explaining in a hearing about a similar patient just what the corporate thinking was about the necessity of keeping people clean.
People have bowel movements every day where they don't completely clean themselves, and we don't fuss over too much. People are allowed to be dirty. You know, I would allow him to be a
Oh,
little
my.
dirty for a couple days.
Your fucking mom would throw a shit
Look,
fit.
I'll
I'm
be
about
honest,
to.
when I first
My
heard that, I
bedside
thought that
manner's better
has to
than
be
this.
taken out of context. There is no way a doctor, a licensed physician, would testify in a hearing that he thinks it's okay if people have shit on them for days. So we got the full hearing. I'm not going to play it for you. I'm just going to tell you, he said it, he meant it, and it made me want to punch a hole in the wall.
Yeah, so he's alleging that they did take it out of context and that there's false accusation.
This is the
designed to spark
nursing.
It's not
outrage.
false.
Yeah.
And listen, the part of the nursing that I could not deal with was the cleanup part. Now, I'm not saying
This-
your mom had to do that, but at some phase along the way, there is some cleaning up to do.
It's not the nursing. It's being straight. Like, you guys don't know how to clean your ass. Like, it's just, he said that, and I'm like, this is a straight person who doesn't know how to clean their ass and doesn't care.
Well, it's not imperative that we clean our ass, where if you're gay, it's a
And this
big
is why.
part of your life.
And this is why, to any gay guys who are listening to this podcast, all two of you, do not hook up with straight men, because you're going to go back there and you're going to be met with somebody who probably was in that trial.
Well, let me say this. What is protocol for ass cleaning?
Why don't we flip this? Tell me how you clean your ass.
I'll tell you what I like to do.
Oh, shit.
I'm not a big moist towelette guy. I did many years ago, Jimmy Kimmel got burned badly, spiritually and physically, because there were those Clorox wipes, that were like on the toilet, whatever. But look, you put them in that weird pouch with the snap cap that no one does. It's white. It's got white and blue. You know, it looks pretty good. You can reach it from the toilet. You're reading you're looking at your phone. He just reached for the Clorox, man, and fucking heard him screaming coming out of the
Oh, my
bathroom.
God. You might as well smoke a new part through your asshole. That's insane.
So is he cleaning up for sex, though?
Jimmy, always ready. Always ready. What I like, if I can time it, I like to time the shower with the shit. I like to get up in the morning, have my cup of coffee, do my business. Every morning I do a freezing cold shower. I just cold water shower, run. I don't have my cold tub. I don't have a swimming pool. I've been displaced from Malibu, so I do the cold valley shower. But the plan is for me, hit the toilet, then hit the shower and clean up, because you're never going to do better than the shower.
Well, I'll do you one better. Do a
towelettes.
juice cleanse for 3 days and a colonic, and then I'm ready.
A colonic. I do have to say, you guys surprised me. Congratulations. And I think
Well, hold on. I'm not prepping for anal rape.
Well, you are, regardless, moving higher on the Kinsey scale the more you talk.
Okay.
So this is fantastic. And a colonic. Look at you,
I
girl.
just know the strategy. I know what you
What are you
guys
doing?
are up to over there, West Hollywood. I know what you do after you go to the Comedy Store.
Oh, look at that. You drag me out to Glendale.
So, yeah, but when I can't hit a shower, after dropping
Yeah.
a deuce, I'll do it until I don't see anything left on the paper,
Ace.
and then I move on.
How
with
are
my
you not
life.
on the Toto toilet, man? You push the button and get your butthole
I
waxed.
am displaced.
You're
Cleanest.
at least bisexual.
Yeah.
This is insane.
This
No,
guy's calling me out
listen,
right now.
I
This
love
is
it, Toto.
insane.
He's
I
dragging
knew.
me out to
I
the-
thought that was you on
You're dragging me
Sniffies.
to the after hours right now, bud.
What do you know about after hours? This is insane. Do you have
What
gay
do you
friends?
know?
You got a bunch of gay friends,
Yeah, I've
don't you?
had gay friends.
my
To me,
God.
I'm like, I know you guys' strategies. They all try to bang me too. And I'm like,
Excuse
whoa,
me,
whoa,
don't
whoa.
let our secrets
All
out
right,
like
all
this.
right. I'll just lay it. Yeah.
This is a lot. I wasn't
Listen,
expecting this.
I have the Toto seat,
Yeah.
but I'm displaced.
But you don't. Oh, you're,
You're
right.
I can't
I
take
forgot.
my toilet seat.
Sorry,
with,
Coach.
I lived in
Oh,
Malibu. I'm not
right.
able to return to my seat.
You
Now-
could have went and grabbed it when you were there. I would have grabbed it. This is a nice piece of equipment.
Well,
That's wild.
Hold on. It requires a water source and a power source.
You're right.
And when you look at houses built in the 80s, look by the toilet. There's no fucking outlet
You're right.
underneath the toilet. You
right.
have to punch a hole, pull a wire. You got to heat up that thing. I mean, get it. When I say heat it up, I mean electrically get power to it. You know what I mean? There's no old houses that have outlets by the toilet. Who's vacuuming by
running an
toilet?
extension cord all through the
I
house.
just want you two to know, I don't even have one of these.
You don't. It's a game changer.
It is.
I mean, I'm.
It really is game
level
changer.
of
It's like a
jealousy.
shower. It's like a shower that you just stroll right out after. Nothing happened.
I'm so surprised that I can't wait to see you guys at Pride.
I went, the first time I ever came upon that was at the Riga Royal Hotel in like 2000 in New York City. I sat down on that toilet in my room. I was like, what is this? A picture of a seal
Yeah.
with a ball on its
Yeah.
nose and water splash?
I had
What
the
is-
same experience
what
in
is-
Japan.
What is going on around here?
Yeah.
I called Jimmy in his room. I was like, hey, man, do you have one of these? I go, yeah. I go, I don't, what goes on here? So all right, I'm going to start, I hope one of these buttons isn't an ejector seat. I'm going to start pushing buttons. I start pushing buttons, hitting the ass. So Jimmy then bought me a toilet. He bought me a Toto toilet. Boy, it really sounds gay with Jimmy, but he bought me a Toto toilet seat.
They're on the phone together
Oh
pushing
my
the button.
God, this is how addiction
One,
starts.
two,
This is
three.
beautiful.
Listen,
Wow.
without getting too intimate in the gay world,
Please do.
Too late.
I come from a lot of theater and sketch comedy in LA, so I knew my fair share of
Theater?
of bros. I did Acme and Groundlings and stuff like
Oh,
that. We did a
improv.
lot of improv and
Yeah.
sketch. But I mean, if you think about it, sketch is kind of theater because you hand out scripts, everyone memorizes
Do a
and puts a
character.
costume on, do a character. And I was surprised that a lot of gay dudes aren't into backdoor stuff. Like I knew gay dudes that's like, I just blow dudes or I get blown. Like that's how we roll. I don't do other stuff, or they pick a lane, or they have a lane. Does that make any sense at all? Or maybe that was just my buddy Mark from the Acme Theater. Or maybe he just wanted a blowjob. Maybe he didn't want me to jump into the deep end.
I don't know what the fuck, who gay guys you're hanging out with, but this is 2025, baby.
Yeah.
This is not that.
All the gay
90s.
guys you know are into everything.
I can't even
Everything's on
look
the menu.
at you, ma'am. This is a lot.
It's all on the table.
It's all on the table.
Top, bottom.
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead.
God. I'm going to get roasted.
Well, he's going to educate us
Do y'all
today.
know what Sniffies is?
No. Wait,
Do y'all know what
poppers?
Sniffies is?
Amyl nitrate.
You're gay.
Yeah, I'm gay.
You are a
Listen,
homosexual.
I know that you guys are into all kinds
You
of dirt
guys!
bags.
I don't
Well, I
walk
know
in here
that
wearing a
the
construction
bee-
hat appropriating your culture, ma'am. So I don't think we're going to start this game like that. I will pull out a Ouija board. We'll call Harvey Milk to the
I've
table.
said too much.
Harvey Milk. At least get Sean Penn in there.
Yeah.
They were called poppers, not sniffies, to be
Yes.
fair to
Oh
a
my
straight
God!
man.
Okay, now
Just
you've redeemed
reinvented
yourself.
old
You're
stuff.
back. You're back
Yeah.
to being straight. No, okay. So do you know what poppers are?
Amyl nitrate.
Amyl nitrate. Do you know what it's for?
Yeah. Well, right when you come, you pop it, or what do you do? I don't know how it goes.
Honestly, the way we're building bridges together right now
You are.
is truly exceptional. I cannot wait for you to be the Grand Marshal of
still-
WeHo Pride.
Are they still popular?
Yeah. Oh,
They've come back.
they're popular, but the current administration is taking them away and shutting down the poppers factory.
Okay, let me figure out the poppers for a second. So they've come back like gin has.
No, they've always been there. You just didn't know about it.
They've been going straight through.
Yeah.
Always pop. Because things like rye whiskey, when I was in the 80s, nobody asked for rye whiskey or an old fashioned or something. It was all gone. And then at some point, rye whiskey got popular again, and old fashions came back, and gin came back. So there's an ebb and a flow with stuff. Now, they have nitrous oxide. And nitrous oxide, you could steal a big tank from the hospitals. Some of my friends did back in the day. Or you could get the cartridges. The cartridges are propellant for like working on industrial size whipped cream containers and stuff, but you can do whippets.
Right.
Off of, So there's a kind of above board legal version of nitrous that you can get. But amyl poppers, what is the application? Because it's not used in catering.
It's in catering?
I'm saying these cartridges are used for catering.
Right.
So what the hell is amyl nitrate for?
I don't know. I'm not Mr. Poppers, okay? Mary Poppers,
Well, listen,
if you will.
you're him here.
But it's amyl nitrates, whatever the hell that means, and you sniff it, and it allows your muscles to relax. Connect the dots. Here's the thing, though. Pretty sure it's safe to say it's not good for your brain. All right, let's get some CAT scans going over here, gay boys. And so now like the FDA is like, this shit's gonna stop. And
Would you be able to buy them on the internet in the past?
God damn, I don't know. The biggest supplier has just recently had to be shut down, and that was all internet based.
What were they claiming the use was?
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
What do you mean? Oh, I think like nail polish remover.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
It's like I said, when I was a kid, I'd go to the hardware store in North Hollywood or the Army surplus store when I was like 10. And at the counter, there was a box of a white old school vibrator and a drawing of a chick holding it on her shoulder. Sweet relief, because you got to put something on the box.
It's that.
Something needs to be on the box.
yeah.
It's not what anyone's doing with it, but we got a box.
It's that.
It's that, right? They're often packaged under the guise of room deodorizers, leather polish, nail polish remover,
or VCR
or
cleaner.
videotape head cleaner. But why do you have to pop them?
There's no popping. I don't know where the popping came from. Probably just from the
So
euphoria.
now
Afterwards, you could pop it in.
Sure.
you give that a huff right at the moment of climax.
No. Before.
To loosen things up.
The preparation.
Okay.
Oh, that's
I better
weird.
get the Congressional Medal of Freedom for
You're
the
right.
education we're doing today.
I thought you did it right when you're having an orgasm, but you're saying to loose. Yeah, that's interesting because I had a emergency room physician come over here to watch some fights.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah,
he
one
showed
guy
a
was a doctor.
picture on his phone,
Yeah.
a giant dildo,
Yes.
and he
Oh,
said,
yeah.
I had to pull this guy worker had to pull this out of a guy's ass. And I said, well, how did he get it? He said, got it with tongs or forceps. I go, how do you get the guy? He goes, you put him under. And I go, yeah, but even under, he goes, no, once you go under, you get pretty, things relax. But that's a big ass dildo we saw.
God, it was a nightmare.
That's because I worked in the hospital. That happened.
Oh, you did?
When my mom hired me. That shit happens all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I worked in X-ray in ER, and that would happen.
What's the
often.
weirdest thing you saw up there?
A Matchbox car.
Really?
Potatoes were commonplace.
Potatoes?
Potatoes are commonplace.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, the Midwest.
I hope there were those like little purple ones,
Fingerlings?
not the big Yukon.
Well, you want to
Gold.
hear how I got fired from this job?
Yeah.
A male pelvic X-ray does show your full penis.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Okay. And they take all the X-rays that aren't being used anymore, and they just keep them in a pile, and then I don't know, probably burn them or something like that. I thought it would be so funny to take all these male pelvic x-rays, remove the lampshade from the lamp in the workroom for all of my coworkers, and change it with male pelvic x-rays. Turns out, not funny for everyone.
It's funny.
I thought it was
funny.
It's great.
Yeah.
I think it's a HIPAA violation, apparently.
Solid joke, though.
That's
Something
good.
Like that. I thought,
workplace
They weren't
humor
there.
is gone now because everyone's so uptight. They're suing everybody.
yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad.
There were no names on it, no social security numbers, just penis and bones.
Listen, you go in, so they say, when you go to one of these plastic surgeons and you want to get a boob reduction or a boob job or something like that, they got a whole catalog of boobs to show you.
I would hope so.
There's no names, but the guy's taking pictures of boobs and going, here's how it works. I'll get my hands on the before the reduction picture. But either way, they're showing around pictures of rando boobs.
Yeah,
that's part of the business.
Yeah, they get away with it. They sign away that right. Yeah.
Well, what about a cockshade? I don't get it. I had a Rams football shade in my room growing
Wouldn't
up.
that
What's
sell?
the difference?
A nice little morbid Etsy shop. Those things would fucking fly.
You're right.
So was there big to-do? Like someone go, who did this or who's responsible for this cockshade?
Yeah, they threw me under the bus quick.
Oh, really?
Real quick. And then I had to go down to HR and be fired by my mom.
Damn.
Now, did anyone know your status as a gay black belt?
As a gay black belt?
Just knowing everything about the gay lifestyle.
Did anyone know my status about this?
Back then.
Oh, yeah.
Because Cox, the dick lampshade coming from me is a different, it's a different message. You know what I mean?
You're right. Yeah.
I don't beat off to the lampshade.
He's never had a lampshade in his mouth. That's all he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. It could be like, oh, Carolla, get the hell out of here.
All coming back to
Is
me
it?
now that people are like, this fucking
This homo screwing around with random cock.
jerking off to these dicks in the break room. This is amazing.
That's what happened. You should go back and sue that hospital.
This is great.
Sue them.
What's the statute of limitations on this shit? I'm about to get my
I'll blow a call into Lena Dunham. She'll raise holy hell over there, fellow comedian.
You're the wisest I've ever
Oh,
seen.
this is great. I didn't realize we were coming to church.
That's what happened. If you were straight, they wouldn't have fired you. Would have been an innocent joke.
So true.
They knew.
Well, the health insurance executive
Oh,
is
yeah,
suing
that guy.
Oliver. Yeah. And that's that. Yeah. Val Kilmer.
Oh.
Sorry, Ace. The Iceman is dead. Yeah, star Top Gun, Doors, and several classic films.
All of them.
Died
man.
Tuesday in Los Angeles.
He was great. And listen, he should have got an Academy Award for Doors because
He did, yeah. He should have. Yeah.
Should have. He was, he turned into Jim Morrison. He sung all the stuff. He looked like the guy. He grew a beard. He got fat. He did everything. Like he was Jim Morrison. I've said it once. I'll say it again. Portraying somebody that we all know, where we know what they look like, we know what they sound like, we know what they sing like we know what their mannerisms is. That is a much higher bar than playing, well, this guy was a cobbler from 1871 who turned out to avenge. It's like that could be anybody, and we'd never know who that guy was. The tallest order is becoming somebody. I mean, if you think what acting really is, and the fact that he didn't get the Academy Award for that is disappointing.
I don't know who did that year. That was whack. He was also in
Got to find out
Tombstone.
what year The Doors came out and who won. I've looked it up before.
Yeah.
It's usually always like, you go, okay, but he should have got it.
Well, he went to Juilliard when he was 17, like the youngest guy in there, and played Hamlet, early in his career. Later on, Tombstone, True Romance, Heat, which is like my favorite one. That was a badass movie. It's a damn shame.
There's a
that he went
really
too early.
interesting doc on him that I watched not too long ago. And I can't remember what it's called. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it's on HBO. I don't know if it's Hulu or whatever. But there's a good doc on him and how he grew up and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Who won that year? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Not that The Doors was directed by Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
No, that I got. I'm just asking who won that year.
Yeah, I should mention that. Yeah, he died of throat cancer.
Oh,
Compliment. He was a cigarette smoker, and yeah, he had his cancer in remission, but now the pneumonia caught him. That's how
Pneumonia always gets you, but it's always something.
Yeah,
something
exactly.
at the beginning.
You're weakened by everything.
Anthony Hopkins from Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, yeah.
That's why. It was
Swept
just
Best
a bad year.
Picture, too, I think, that
It
year
did.
as well.
Correct.
1990.
90.
91, sorry.
91.
Yeah, but Hopkins was playing a fictional character and doing a great job. But we didn't have an A and a B, you know?
Oh, yeah,
you're
for
right,
sure.
yeah.
And I think he sung all the Doors songs too, which
He
was
really
pretty,
nailed it. Yeah.
pretty good.
Did you see him in Wonderland as John Holmes?
Oh yeah, he was great in Wonderland.
He was really good in that. That's a great movie.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, he wasn't even nominated.
Damn.
Wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
All right.
I liked him as Batman.
Yeah,
that was
Wonderland
pretty
was a true story and an interesting story. And so he played John Holmes, and he also played Jim Morrison. Okay. Yeah, he was great.
All right. Well, you'd like to know this. The Malibu home that Kanye West destroyed and abandoned is getting a new owner in an all-cash deal. Yeah, someone's paying cash for Kanye West's gutted beachfront
So
bunker.
he buys this house
Yeah.
on PCH, and we got to look it up.
He bought it for $57.25
We got to
million.
look it up and see what it's next to, because I walk that all the time. I've been there a million times. By the way, my latest vlog, my video log, is up on this, where we walk through Malibu and talk to the Army Corps of Engineers and stuff like that. If you guys want to check it out, it's pretty informative. But he bought this place, and I don't know if stuff around him burned or not. It's catch as catch can when you go down PCH. This is burnt, that's not burnt. They string together like 10 houses untouched, and then 20 houses are burnt, and then 5 houses are good, and then 30 houses are burnt. Like it's a weird run with no rime or reason. You couldn't go, he's in the part that didn't burn, because there are parts within the part that didn't burn that are burnt. So he buys his house for like 57.
Yeah, 57, and then they snapped it up for $21 million. Yeah.
21.
And now they listed the half-restored home for $39 million.
Huh.
So it's a quick turnover, and the exact amount has not been disclosed, but Mazzella confirmed to the Journal that the contract price was between $30 million and $34.
I don't know. If we're being real, not that cute of a house.
Well, he did destroy it, gut completely. He was planning on making it a beachfront bunker. That's what he
gave
said.
bunker.
Yeah,
it
did.
felt very bunker.
It did.
Yeah, I mean, it's all sort of poured in place concrete.
Yeah.
And you'd have to get in there and finish it.
It's weird that something that's just like a parking lot can be $19 million.
For real.
It's not 19 million, it's
Well, no,
39.
4 million.
They snapped it up. Oh, I'm sorry, $21 million. Yeah.
No, he
Paid $57 million.
Then
Correct.
he sold it for 21.
Yes.
Now he's selling it for
Now they're selling it for 39.
39 is what they're asking for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wild.
It is wild, and like I said, I don't know. Can you guys figure out the address of this place? It's not listed.
Yeah.
So I walked that area a lot when I used to live there, and I could kind of see where it was. First off, these lots are miniature.
Yeah.
These lots are like 35 or 40 feet wide, which is not a big lot. And they basically just go from PCH to sort of the ocean. Mm-hmm. But they're just super narrow. This isn't a double lot. And all those houses that burned down were all 25, 30 million bucks too. Now, this one, you should just leave it how it is because it could never burn down now because it's basically just a parking
Well, there's nothing
structure.
to burn.
There's nothing to burn. But if the concrete gets torched, they'll still deem it as irreparable and tear it down. As I learned from my last trip to Malibu when I was talking to the Army Corps of Engineers guy, they were trucking in all the burnt cement, and then they were pulverizing it, and then they were pulling all the rebar out of it, and then they were putting it on a conveyor belt. Oh, here's the Here it is.
Is it
Looks
because
familiar.
the temperature gets so high that the concrete is now unstable? Is that what they told you?
So here's how it works. The burning of it degrades it.
Yeah.
But not necessarily if there was a fire and there was like a retaining wall and it wasn't actually in the fire. So then what they have to do is test it. And the way you test concrete is you get a core sample. You literally core a piece of it out. You take it to some lab. The lab has a crusher, and it goes, if it's good for 10,000 PSI, then it's still good. But if it crushes at 7,000 PSI, then it's been compromised. So you get core samples. You take it to a lab. They test the concrete, and then we'll decide whether you can keep it or not. I mean, I'm kind of, maybe I'm an expert. I might possibly be an expert.
In this room, you're
No,
an expert.
I'm not a concrete testing expert, but I've been around where they go, we got to get a core sample. They'll get a core sample just to make sure the driveway, if they poured a landing strip at LAX.
Yeah.
Now, landing strip is not your driveway. Your driveway's 4 inches, maybe
How do
6
you know
inches.
all this shit?
That should be a contract.
Yes.
But a landing strip at LAX has got to be like 16 inches or something because the fully loaded jumbo jets are landing on this thing. So if you built a landing strip, a new landing strip at LAX, at some point when they were done, some engineer would get a core sample, make sure you got the right PSI, you used the right concrete, and it wasn't degraded or whatever, and test it. It would be part of signing off on it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Steve Hilton is here. Joe's got a heart out. That should be the name of your next special.
You like that, boys?
That should be the name of the next special.
You're producing it, so sounds good.
I'm producing it. I might drink so much at the after party, I put the dick lampshade on my head.
Hey, now we're talking. That's with the credits. They're running over that picture.
Get the
Joe Dombrowski, everyone, my straight friends, monthly over at the Comedy Store and the podcast, the Social Studies podcast as well. And he's got live shows at joedombrowski.com. That's where you go as well.
it.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.